slight change of plan. Camels Hump Road up towards Burroughs Trailhead appears to be washed out. Guess we'll be walking from here. Okay, I'm pretty excited. This is the start of my adventure. That's been really thinking about for months and even years. Preparation for Yosemite, really, but this is a nice warm-up hike. And I've been wanting to redo this section of the long trail since I started it, or actually since I did it back when I was 15 years old. So this is a little bit of memory lane, and looking forward to it. This poor tree withstood one too many sets of initials carved in its bark. It's an interesting rock formation. Thanks, trail crew. We appreciate it. Look at this waterfall. Okay, this is how I remember the Green Mountains and the long trail to be a lot like this. We're not there yet. We're still on Monroe. Getting real close to Long Trail. So when I did the Long Trail all those years ago, it was with an organization called Summer Challenge, which was offered by high school, CVU, Cal Valley Union High School, and it was a great program for a number of years. And I did it one summer. I don't know, there's more than a dozen kids at a time, and they broke them up into smaller groups to do these backpacking. And what a great experience. It was all basically run by older kids, 2 school teachers. I don't recall them doing the hiking, but certainly organizing it. And what a great experience. I've thought back on what I gained from the challenge with all that throughout my life. And certainly for the first couple decades, I probably told people about it too much, just because it had so much impact on my life and probably confidence. I remember doing the Long Trail when I was 15 and running across an old guy who I felt at the time must be about 100 years old. And it was really cool to see him out there in his trousers and a Smokey Bear hat. And he was keeping up with the pack, and it was just great to see him there. I remember appreciating that at the time and thinking, I wonder if I'll be able to do that when I'm 100. And looking back at it now, I suspect he was probably about the age I am now. And so I got myself some long trousers and a silly hat, and I'm off to try to duplicate that for myself. How's that for perseverance? This tree is about 10 inches in diameter. Clearly a big tree fell on it about 50 years ago and left it for dead. But look at this. The tree survived, thrived, and there's no sign of the old huge log that fell on it all those years ago. First view. So I haven't seen a bug yet this trail. All summer so far, it's been really buggy with gnats and flies and black flies, but there's this early August, and Vermont doesn't seem to have any bugs. And I just treated all my clothes with permethrin to ward off the ticks. seem to be entering the alpine zone here with, I don't know, 8-10 foot trees with their stunted growth. Oh, look at that. Went this whole morning without any views. They string along the trail, and again at the summit to keep us herded in, so nobody's walking on the. So we're all walking on the rock, and avoiding stepping on and destroying the alpine conditions of grass and flowers and such. At the summit of Camel's Hump, Lake Champlain in the distance. Luckily, we're below the cloud cover, and it's a beautiful day. Probably 70 degrees up here. Jaja. Can
Mom, Doctor Harry send the picture to No. Oh, never mind, never mind,
I do notice one difference between now and when I was 15. I used to go rock hopping all the way down these things. Just jump, rock to rock to rock. Sometimes you're going down what looks like dried up riverbeds, and it would just be fun to just run as, really basically just run as far as fast as your feet would take you. I guess I'm doing the same now. Feet just don't take me that way so fast. Now we're on the long trail north, really for the first time. The trail does go over the summit. I had to backtrack back to this point, and now the rest of the trip will be down the long trail. And you can see it's a lot less crowded in terms of where. Very beautiful. I just left probably 15 people or so at the summit, which midweek on a nice day is probably pretty typical in August. A weekend would have been crazyville. So I'm timing all my summits for midweek. These Sawyer filters are great. Life is good. All you do is squeeze it through the filter and you got clean water. Not clear, but clean. And captures most of your bacteria and protozoa. Certainly not viruses and all everything, but the big ones. And I think back in the day we used to use chemical tablets, or just find a spring we deemed as clean. But these are great. Oh, and in between we used pumps. They're much bigger and heavier and a lot of work. This water would certainly do in a pinch. I would definitely be drinking it, but my app says another half a mile or so down the road and is better water. I'm using Far Out, which is what it's renamed from gut hooks, and it does a good job of advising where the best water is and so on. I like to drink about half a liter an hour, I think, of water, minimum, and especially when it's hot and humid. And been doing less than that. I carried 2.5 liters of water and about out. So looking forward to a water source. I hear it in the distance, so I think that's a good one. Like I say, I think they had a lot of rain here, so this may be a runoff, but hopefully it's supplemented with a spring as well. I'll pump it for safety anyway. Not being a millennial, I've never become comfortable filming myself, video or sound, but I will say that this is sort of a cathartic experience because I wanted to reflect a lot on the last 50 years since my last major hike on this trail, and talking about it out loud seems to bring up more of the memories. So I think I'm liking it so far. I'm just remembering that because our summer challenge program was sponsored by the high school, it was run by two teachers, Mr. Boulanger and Mr. Blanchet, French names because we're in northern Vermont after all, pretty close to Quebec. And they would have us study a book called Word Power. And I just came across that book in my basement recently. And it was full of hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of words. And we were to study it together and test each other as we hiked. And we did. And it was words to increase our vocabulary. One of them was an English teacher. And it was really kind of fun. Something we never would have done if they didn't make it cool. And I suppose promised us that there was a test at the end. But it became the fun thing. I mean, what else are you going to talk about for all those hours on the trail? So we'd end up testing each other on the difference between a phlebotomist and a osteopath and all kinds of other medical professionals, and of course adjectives and verbs and so on. So just a memory from the past. Ooh, what do we have here? Another nice vista. Look out. Okay, here we go. Oh, nice. Using walking sticks, just even cheap aluminum poles like these, really makes life easier. So much easier to brace yourself and cushion the blow on the knees when you jump from rock to rock. And it increases my security too, to have 4 points of contact instead of 2, when invariably you lose 1 or 2 on these slippery wet rocks. So I'm loving the poles. Definitely will continue to use those. We're looking north on the long trail. That's the direction of travel. The furthest peak out there is, I believe, Mount Mansfield, tallest peak in the area. And in between Mansfield and us is Bolton Mountain, which I'll be climbing tomorrow. Really nice view from here. Standing on a ledge. Looking east. A great view. This mountain is composed of granite. And you can see a large amount of quartz as well. Here's a view looking back at Camel's Hump, where we just descended from the summit. You don't run across too many adult hikers on their first hike. It's sort of an acquired taste that you need to start early. So get those kids out there on the trail early, and they'll love it for life. And they'll thank you. I just met a 11-year-old kid and his dad up at the summit. They came up Monroe Trail with me. Passed them a couple times, and yeah, he was loving it. The kid was running up ahead of his dad and really enjoying it and creating some memories that'll last a lifetime. Keeping with the theme of the day, during the drive time here to Vermont, I was listening to some classic music on the radio, some which I haven't heard a lot in a very long time. So I listened to Boomtown Rats. You don't see that on the radio very often, do you? But that was a blast from the past. And of course the Kinks, which I'm rediscovering that I think I like everything they ever did and all their reincarnations. Great group. Yeah, that would have been ugly on a rainy day. Little steep and treacherous. It's slippery. Okay, this is interesting. It's only a wide, a bit steep. And that's down. I haven't seen a soul yet on the long trail portion of this hike so far, in either direction, although I did see footprints heading this direction. It's possible that I'll get the shelter to myself tonight. That would be fun. I also could set up a tent if there's room. Look at that microclimate. That's so cool. Wow. People sometimes ask me what I think about if I'm solo hiking for all day, for an all week, and I never knew actually. Now I actually have a recording of it. I'm seeing a lot of blueberry bushes. Unfortunately, we're past the season. I did enjoy blueberries 2 weeks ago on Mount Monadnock, but we do have lots of lichen to enjoy. Just don't eat it. Well, there's a trillium, rather rare and endangered species. I believe it still is. And I don't know what that fungi is. It's pretty cool. And just as I say they're rare, there's some more trillium. The flowers are gone by. Camel's Hump again to the south, with both its humps. You can sort of see the other hump, southern hump to the left. Looks like a little bit of up before we complete our down. If you're looking for water, look no further. The trail is a stream. Pretty typical in Vermont. You should see June. But that's when the black flies are gliding, so I don't recommend anybody come pick them out in June. And the vegetation's a little different here, and got a lot of decomposing material on the trail. Very comfortable walk on. So we're down 1,000 feet or more from the summit, so things are a little bit different. It's still damp from a couple days ago. I have a feeling it doesn't ever get too dry in here. Pretty thick, look at all the ferns. Oh, look at these mosses and lichen on the rock as well. But over here, I've never seen this. It's red. Red moss of some sort. Very pretty. Anyway, seems to like the habitat here. I've been doing hikes this summer of similar difficulty, day pack. 7, 10 miles at maybe 2.6, 2.8 miles per hour. A lot of it, I think an average of 2.5 total trip. But I've got a 33-pound pack today, and I'm in no rush, and I need to conserve knee juice for the rest of the week. So I'm finding that I'm probably going to end up being a lot closer to 2 miles per hour this trip, or this section, while I'm doing the most climbing and descending, because those are more like 1.5 miles per hour on the steep parts, both up and down, and faster on flats like this, blackbirds. Oh, nice. That's nice of them. It's a good way to get up there. Okay, we're headed for Banff Fourth Ridge Shelter, just ahead. That took longer than I expected. It was really wet and slippery pretty much the last 3.5 miles down from the summit. It slowed me down considerably. I think it's almost 7 o'clock at night. The trail crew's making our life easier again. That's Trillium again. It looks like the plant has gone to seed, so that's cool. Got up around 6:30 today. I was joined in the shelter last night by 2 guys. One is a teacher in Colorado. It's interesting to talk to him. And later on, well after dark, somebody showed up. A couple hours after dark, after we'd been in bed. And he
very quietly set his sleeping bag and pad and whatnot, remarkably quietly and quickly, without much light. He was very courteous and left the light off or dim. We were awake, but nobody acknowledged anybody. Yeah, it surprised me when people wanted to hike this trail at night like that. It is treacherous. Really, even the day, it was so. It's so slippery, so wet, muddy and slippery during the daytime. I really cannot imagine doing that at night. The signs are over here that this is a very, very active bear area, so they want all the food down here in bear canisters. They provided these very secure canisters chained to trees, about 100 yards off from the shelter. And they even provided a picnic table, which is unusual. This is nice. It's very, very comfortable for morning coffee. It won't always be like this.
Well, I got a leisurely start today. It's just such a glorious morning. It's sunny. I woke up to probably 55 degrees, and I think it's going to warm up some today on account of the sun. But last night, no. In fact, this whole trip, no bugs, no bears, no humidity. It's just been perfect. Didn't change a thing. Greg is the guy from Colorado that I met last night. Real nice guy. He got up while it was still dark and headed out, I don't know, 6 o'clock or so in the dark. Got up pretty quietly and just left. He has to do today what I did yesterday, so it is a pretty, 2,900 verts is a pretty good climb. So he's getting an early start. And this morning I woke up and had my leisurely breakfast. When I came back to the shelter, the guy that arrived in the middle of the night was up, and he's a nice guy. Didn't catch his name, but he's just finished his degree in neuroscience and trying to decide what to do with the rest of his life. I'm sure he's got a lot of great options. He talked about the need for Alzheimer's and stroke victims, and among other things. So plenty of opportunity, plenty of innovation in those areas. I'm sure he just has to decide what school to go to next and where to take that. So enjoyed that. Really meet some really nice people. He was from Massachusetts. Oop, kind of muddy here. Okay, just descended off of this. It's probably 80 feet of scrambled roots and rocks. Very nice. Still descending the north side of Camel's Hump, headed for the road walk through town and then back up the next mountain, Bolton. This is interesting. Look at that gully. So this appears to be an old logging road. In fact, I'd say a skidding road. for skidding the trees directly down the mountain. It's about 6 feet deep, and you can see the trees on either side on the berms. But this is, I'm sure, 80 years old, judging by the neighboring trees. Someone built a flintstone bench up here on a beautiful knoll. They would have had to fly those timbers in, chopper them in. But what a nice place to do so. Look at that. What do we have here? This looks like a cave. Let me closer. Oh yeah. This would be one heck of a great hangout in a lightning storm. This thing is 20 feet by 8 feet deep. A lot of cover, nice and cool, dry floor. Great place in a thunderstorm. Far out app called for water at this location. They weren't kidding. Biggest water yet. Look at this. Waterfall, pool. Oh, I'm really tempted to take a swim right there in that pool. Really should. I have only 12 miles to go. Oh, wow. Outstanding. Really, really outstanding. Just a wonderful spot. There's more pools around. It's absolutely gorgeous place to cool off. Really appreciate it. And a nice place to take a break. We're going by a chicken coop. Looks like it's a mobile unit that slowly advances across this farmer's field. You can see where it has been before, naturally fertilizing. We have a bit of a river walk and by the farmer's fields, and then the road walk a little later. There's electric fence here, and this is how we get over the fence. Butternuts on the trail. Must be a butternut tree. Around. There it is. Right there. This is where the trail crosses a good-sized brook. And feet are perhaps in danger of getting wet. We'll have to find a good spot. We need to cross the Winooski River up ahead. Looks like there's a suspension bridge. That's kind of cool. In the meantime, this is shows a lot of destruction here. This is about a 5-foot drop off where the road is gone. Winooski appears to be flowing westerly, and we are crossing it in order to go north. Next on the gauntlet, we're going to cross railroad tracks, Route 2 maybe, and 89 in order to start climbing that way, north. Notch Road has been like this the entire way. This is the first section where they put warning cones. I guess when the 10-foot cliff reaches all the way to the center line, if there were one, that's a good place for a cone. At night, certainly. Well, that feels safe. I guess we're sharing it with cars. I'm showing you the flowers while I endure the highway. I only brought 2 pairs of socks, so I try to do laundry every day. These socks are still in the dryer, as you can see. They're still about as wet as they were last night. This is the first time I've seen the sun on a rock, so hopefully we'll dry them out a little bit here. These cliffs are, I don't know, 100 feet or so. It looks like locals do some climbing here, or people probably come from quite a distance to do some rock climbing here. Ice climbing too. I feel you, old beach. I really do. Buchanan was a great lodge to stay at. This is about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm the last to leave. The rest are all pretty much trying to quickly finish their end-to-end hikes before they have to go back to school or life. And I have a few more options regarding time and enjoyment. Well, I slept well last night. I had a great night at Buchanan. There must have been about 7 people, 4 in the cabin, in the shelter, and 3 tenters. The tenters are all still down there. The cabin folk all got up at 4:30, like rather quietly, with their red headlamps, and we all kind of hooked up together, and most of them took off before daybreak. I'm getting out around 6. It's really quite beautiful, serene, very, very quiet. I like the sunlight. It's pretty muddy in spots, and I just as soon not be tromping through that. But the issue is that change of plans. The weather's coming in, a bit of a tropical storm heading this way. Friday is no longer a real good hiking day, certainly not to be summiting Mount Mansfield with all the bouldering and slippery slides. Best not do that in the rain. So most of us are deciding to push ahead and add miles and get up and over Mansfield before that happens, which means a long day. So some of them are going 17 miles up and over Bolton, and then up and over Mansfield. And Bolton is going to be almost 1,000 feet from here. I think 800 vertical feet. Then you totally descend that and start over at 1,800 feet and climb to 44. So that's a whole lot more verts for Mansfield added to it. And with 17 miles on top of that, it's going to be a big day. So a lot of folks started at 4:30 in order to get done by dark and get somewhere safe. And I still need to figure my plans. I'm not sure I want to spend a rainy weekend, Friday or Saturday, in a lodge. So I'd have to find a way to get off the mountain, different from my original plan. So that's a work in progress. So one of my bunkmates last night was Peter from Maine, and he's retired. He's the other old retired guy, and he is trying to complete a section before the weather. Otherwise, you got to go back to Maine, so that's inconvenient for him. So he's pushing the miles hard through the mud, and other than that, it's mainly young folks that have a very determined goal, and the summer's winding down, so they're all on their last week trying to complete this epic journey, and so they're really feeling the pressure. So my situation is nice. more like Peter's not really needing to be done. And we can always come back and do another section, which he has done. Meeting a lot of nice, smart kids. They're generally in the middle of their education. A bunch of several of the girls were in healthcare fields, or want to be. So biochemistry majors, thinking about becoming an MD, and others that were talking about nursing and all the potential things you can do when you graduate with a nursing degree. So really glad to see these folks are all actually very ambitious and have plans. Still climbing the foothill entrance to Bolton, I think. I think Bolton's going to be a grind when we get to it. But really enjoying this boreal forest in the meantime. It's just very unique to the region, and so quiet and enjoyable. So I was thinking that the common characteristic I see in trail hikers are real determination to get a job done. I think it does weed out folks that that need the immediate gratification of putting in 10 minutes work and get something quantitative out of it. I think these are long distance runners, long distance hiker type folks that do have a goal, but are able to focus on literally second by second, millisecond by second of just where's my foot placement going to be, and willing to live like that, moment to moment, knowing that it's reaching a goal in the end. And it's no surprise to me that these folks do have big dreams and they're working towards it in their life. And I feel quite certain that they're going to reach their goals. I think this hike is going to give them a lot of self-confidence, and knowing that they can meet any challenge that's put in their way, because there are plenty of physical challenge and apparently a lot of emotional challenges. A lot of people speak of emotional challenges and the need to give up and leaning on each other to keep them moving. They become a bit of a community, even on the long trail. People are meeting each other. Girls are matching up with others that they don't necessarily hike with, but they meet up with and are emotional support for each other. It's really quite great. It hasn't rained here in days, and yet pretty good mud. Most of the flats, and you can see people, I think they just give up and walk straight on through it. Figure once a lot easier done. But life is a lot easier with dry socks. And so far, I find that's where the poles come in handy. A lot of times what looks like a good footing is not, and I can test that with my poles and confirm where I'm not certain. And a couple times I've poked at something that turned out it was a rock in the middle of the puddle, and I'm able to jump to it. So poles once again come in very, very handy. And once you're wet though, I think people just keep on going. On a rainy day like tomorrow, it would be, all these roots would be slippery, and of course the mud would be knee deep. But the bigger issue is the descending of Mount Mansfield would be just treacherous. There's a lot of exposure, a lot of slippery rocks even when they're dry, and they're that steep, and to be trying to navigate that with rain dripping down your face and glasses, and that's probably not my idea of fun for tomorrow. I like to read the logbook at the shelters. The previous shelter reported bear activity, and in fact there were signs saying absolutely no food in the shelter. They provided bear canister safes because there had been so much bear activity. The bears were going into people's tents and destroying equipment and taking their food. So that was activity the previous night. Last night, the logbook was really speaking about mice. A lot of people reported mice problems here because people do cook and eat in this particular shelter. And some of my bunkmates were reporting I kept them up last night because of the mice activity. But I found a solution to that. I happened to put my earplugs in last night, really good solid earplugs, and I slept like a baby. No mouse activity for me. I managed to slip somehow. Foot slipped the wrong direction and twisted an ankle. I heard a huge pop. I never heard that before. I'm not sure the pop was the ankle or knee, but the ankle's what hurts. So I'm still assessing. Meanwhile, I took a little vista. It's called Harrison's View. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll turn the camera around for this one. Very nice. Harrison's View. Oh yeah, it drops off too. Oh, Harrison, we appreciate this. What I really enjoy about hiking is that truly is one step at a time. So we just did 500 feet and I think I have another 800 or so just to get over Bolton. But you really don't think of it that way. I didn't count the 500 and they just add up one at a time. And I think it's a lot like that in life. Whether it's my woodworking or career, I think it'd be overwhelming if you looked at the entire project all at once. You really do have to break it down into bite-sized chunks and eat that elephant one bite at a time and enjoy each bite. And boy, I'm enjoying this. Now, how's that for persistence? It shows that persistence pays off. This birch tree landed on a piece of moss which slowly grew over the years, collecting on this rock. Enough leaves decomposed, you added up and decomposed to create soil, and that little sapling survived. And when it got too big for the soil there, you see the roots came down into the ground, and thousands of hikers step on those roots every year, and still it's persevering through its harsh conditions. I just checked the map. We're at the base of Bolton still, even after all that climbing. Way in the distance, that's Mount Mansfield, and I can see the towers at the top. This is one of the prettiest water sources I've seen. Appears to be coming out of the schist rock and rather brackish. Filter keeps it safe, and other than that, it's just sort of iced tea. I think I also discovered the cure to pain. Hiking is really the absolute cure. I entered this adventure with a knee meniscus issue, so pain in the knee, and a recent back injury, and both of those were bothering me at the beginning, especially with a heavy pack. And I haven't felt a thing in the last half hour except my right ankle. So that ankle really saved the day. I think it fixed both of the other issues. think I may be off trail, but I'm starting to think it's worth it. Now I'll go look for that trail. Which way? This way. That's Mount Mansfield and the microwave towers at the summit. Chin. At 3,725 feet, this is the view of Bolton Mountain. Yep, that was wet. Oh. That's the wettest yet. Yeah, so far it's been about 1,000 feet elevation of this and 500 of something else. And 1,000 to go on this mountain because we keep going down again. Puffer Shelter was built in 1975. Coincidentally, that's the year of my long trail hike, and I'm asking myself whether this is the same one or they just replaced ours. I'd compare the pictures, but that was before photography. Gorgeous, gorgeous views. Can you imagine weathering the storm, the coming storm? Looking at Mount Mansfield there, all of this at the distance. What an incredible place to hang out. And this is Puffer Shelter with all of its wonderful accommodations. A really cool place to sit here and watch the storm, providing the wind direction is not inward. Yes, I will be filtering this water. Yeah, that was slippery, and glad I'm not doing that one again. Summit of Mount Mayo. Mount Mayo gets no respect. But I gotta tell you, it was a bit of a haul, unexpected, since I didn't know we were gonna do several more mountains after Bolton. Bear here. Still hear you. That was about 25 feet and pretty steep. This mount was not elegant. Okay, a whole lot of this. This is a little bit scrambling. It's kind of wet and slippery. Going to need to look for toe holds. I've had some slips and near misses, not just due to the slippery and muddy, but fatigue. Things that never would have happened on day one are so much more likely to happen on day 3. Knees and legs can brace as well. Going down, jumping from rock to slippery rock, and far more apt to fall. So it's really slowing me down. It's a little frustrating. It's gonna be a long day. I haven't seen anybody since I left this morning. It's been beautiful out here, very quiet. A lot of wind, breeze, a little cooler, well, a little less humid, I guess, than the first day and the second day. Shout out to Peter, guy that shared the cabin with last night. I hope his wounds are healing well. He was mauled by a dog that somebody brought along with him. He turns out a very protective dog. So hopefully he's doing well. This is Mount Clark, another mountain I wasn't really expecting or planning for. I would have called it Mossy Top or something. It is really something. A lot of beautiful moss, gorgeous day. Really enjoying it, a lot of joy. Now that looks like a great place to set up a tent. Soft and sunny. And it would be if it weren't on a 3 inches of sponge. Backside of this mountain has been quite rugged indeed. So glad to see they still have these ladders I remember from my first hike. You can see up here, but after this 30-foot ladder goes another 30 feet of roots, and we jacked through the ladder. But I guess the roots didn't reach down here. Great stuff. Yes, that is the trail, right on through these rocks. Family sometimes asks, so why do you do this? And I'll tell you, it's a quick answer would be, to see if I still can, but it really isn't it. It's much more about, I truly enjoy it. And yeah, it comes with some challenges for sure, lots of challenges and pain and some sacrifice of things you're missing back home. But it truly brings joy, and I guess that's it in a word. I really do feel great out here, and the solo experience has been phenomenal. Really enjoying that too. That's Lake Mansfield through the trees. I started down a trail. It wasn't marked very well. It intersected through the same rocks I was walking through, and I started down to the lake. But I'm gonna pump some pond water now from my previous stop, and then continue on down north on Long Trail. I'd film it if I could, but I can't. I need both hands to get up these roots and rocks. This trail has been different than the others. It's quite a bit of rock piles and a little bit of rock scrambling. I'm heading down, but up would be the same. And there she is. Moose poop. Looks like I was a day or two late for this one. We'll keep our eyes open. It could be in the woods. The birch tree hanging off of yellow birch, hanging off this huge rock, and you'd never know there was a rock there. So heavily encased in other roots and moss. It's kind of magical and cave-like. So we left the pond, went up a hill, back down to the pond. I guess because of all these rocks. Didn't want to miss them. Nice. Let me check for moose up here. Mansfield Pond or lake, great place for a moose, but sorry, no moose. Frogs though. This is great. The breeze is so beautiful off the lake. Did I mention the trail is rugged? This is magical, this canyon. You got like huge rock, trees growing out of it. Path goes down, disappears off that ledge, and goes down into this canyon. The trail goes down there somewhere, so we must now navigate that. Spectacular view from Taylor Lodge. Didn't get a whole lot better than that. Got a cooking rock down here for dinners. Got a deck, covered deck, and it's dark in here, but I can see better through the viewfinder. It's got lofts, if you will. Oh, porthole. More lofts, higher lofts, and floor for those who prefer.